Perseverance is more powerful than gifts.
Perseverance is more powerful than gift.
Yeah. If I have to reveal the real secret that I didn't know back then, is that this is not a short journey. I think I did more than 20 events before I made my first sale. Wow. Before it was 7 times before making a decision. Now it's 30 to 40 times before they buy a $7 product. I think I made every single mistake that could possibly make. Money is really good and it's passion, but the reason why I started, which is my big reason why, is to change lives. No matter what it takes, I'm gonna make it, no matter what the circumstances. And that experience shaped me to who I am now. And yes, I'm short, but I'm deadly.
I feel the biggest pain when I see people who cannot find their place under the sun. Unmotivated, sad, and desperate people. Business owners, entrepreneurs, suffering from burnout, stress, and boredom, and no time for their family. My biggest goal is to help them realize that this world provides enough opportunities for everybody. I managed to help thousands of people, but I strongly believe that we can do so much more if we unite our knowledge and skills. And this is the reason I started doing interviews with the best visionaries and world changers. Their inspiring personal and success stories are a proof that everything is possible. All you have to do is listen and learn. Together, we can change our lives and the future of this world. Hi everybody, this is Warrior Family and I'm Smillion Mori, and you are all here, my friends, because you believe that we can all create and live the life we deserve and we can have it all. But in order to live the life that we deserve, we have to do something about it. And my goal within this show is to bring you special guests, share with you all the tips, their habits, their productivity hacks, their life hacks, mindset, beliefs, internet, sales, marketing strategies that will help you become the person you want to become. And today I have a special guest. His name is Simone Vincenzi. Hello, Simone.
Hello, Smillion.
Hello, Simone. He's from Italy, and he's known as the expert strategist, and he's the co-founder of GTeX. He's a Forbes Entrepreneur magazine and Huffington Post contributor, TEDx speaker, and host of the podcast Explode Your Expert Business. He's the author of 3 life-changing books, and every year he speaks in front of more than 5,000 business leaders, which include sharing the stage with Big Les Brown, Dr. John DeMartini, Simon Sinek, John C. Maxwell, and many others. And Simone is also passionate about not only turning experts into authorities, but he's passionate about didgeridoo.
Yes, I am.
Simone, welcome to our show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So you are the expert of experts.
I'm the expert of experts.
And
indeed.
what is this?
And
You
that's
are a
one of my
musician too?
other, I think, as you know, Smillion, in life is not just about business.
Yeah.
Business is an important part for a business owner, but it doesn't have to be everything. So one of my passions, I got 2 other passions.
Yeah.
One is basketball,
Yes.
which we can talk about later. But another one is music. And I found that, found a big passion in playing this big boy, my didgeridoo, yes.
When did you start to play didgeridoo?
4 years ago.
4 years ago. How that happened?
Have you ever been to a very boring party?
Many times.
Right. And you know when you're like, oh my God, I really want to go home right now.
Yeah.
And I was stuck in that boring party in Cambridge. And I hitchhiked. So I hitchhiked my way to Cambridge from London. And I was there at this party. And it was so boring, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't go home up until the day after. So I look around the room, and in the corner, there was a didgeridoo. I said, you know what? party's so boring, I got to do something about this. So I took the didgeridoo and I went on YouTube how to play the didgeridoo. And for the next 5 hours, up until 7 o'clock in the morning,
Practicing.
I started practicing and playing. But that's not all. I came back from Cambridge to London.
Yeah.
And I don't know if in Slovenia happens the same way, but when people are moving house, they're leaving all their stuff they don't want outside the door for other people to pick. I don't know if that happens the same.
I don't know,
but
let's suppose that it
in
happens.
London,
Yeah.
in London or in UK, that's what happened. You're moving house, all the things you don't need, you put them outside the door.
And somebody will pick it up.
And somebody will pick it up that they need.
That's great. You don't have to pay any services.
Thank you. Guess what I found in front of my doorsteps?
No. Didgeridoo.
A didgeridoo. I'm like, okay, so if this is a sign.
Jesus.
And then that's how I started playing it.
So can you show us?
Of course, absolutely.
So how do you play?
So there are a few things that you're doing.
Yeah.
It's quite a complex instrument because you're only play with your mouth. And as you see, there is a hole in here.
Yes.
And there is nothing else. It's a tube with a hole. And so what you're doing, you are using this movement of the lips, which is that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to learn circular breathing, which means inhaling and exhaling at the same time. That's a bit tricky to learn.
It's like a meditation act.
It is. At the same time, I'll show you in a minute. And then you will need to use your cheeks and the areas in your cheeks, your voice, your diaphragm, opening the throat, and that's how you make all the different sound at the same time. So I'll show you 2 different ways because I believe that you can play the didgeridoo the traditional way and my way. So I'll show you the traditional first, and then I'll show you my way.
Okay.
Okay?
So guys, don't leave us. You know, we will get to the business stuff very soon and to speaking, how to build a speaking empire and everything. But first, let's have some fun. This is part of branding too, by the way.
I'll let you know in a moment as well. Why am I doing this?
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, man.
Thank you.
So why are you doing this?
A lot of practice.
Yeah.
A lot of practice. The first time I played, it sounded like a fart. First time I played, it sounded like this.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing in business, right?
Yeah.
You start doing something.
And it sounds like shit.
And then you practice, you become better. So you can make the first sound. And then you add something different. And that's I use didgeridoo as a metaphor for business because like in business, you're starting small, you're starting simple. And in particular, at the beginning, you're making a lot of mistakes. You think you're doing something great, but actually, it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
And then the more you practice business, sales, marketing, managing a team, leading a team, then the better you become. And the better you become, the more money you make. And then for other people, it sounds awesome. Like, oh my God, how do you do that? Smillion, you're so great.
He's the master.
How do you do that? How do you build all your businesses, all these Instagram followers? How do you do Smillion?
Yeah, overnight.
Overnight, yeah, exactly. But playing the didgeridoo, I found that that was the traditional way. And everything I do in life, I want to do something different. I want to make it mine.
Okay.
So is that okay if I play you in a different way? So I decided to implement beatboxing and didgeridoo at the same time.
I would like to hear.
Let's hear how it sounds.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But again, this is a metaphor. Because when you're running your business, you need to stand out.
Yeah.
You need to stand out from the crowd. You need to stand out from the competition. And if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're never going to make it.
Yeah.
Or you're just competing on price. You're not going to be remembered. You're not going to be memorable. And you said before, this is a branding exercise. Absolutely.
Yeah.
People might not remember anything of what I say.
Didgeridoo, they remember.
But they remember the Italian dude who played the didgeridoo. That's what they remember, right?
Jesus. So let's start in Italy.
Yeah.
When did you move to UK? We are in London right now.
Yeah.
You're Italian, moved to London, which is unusual. It is unusual, but why? Why? What happened?
I was 21 years old, and before I used to manage Michelin star restaurants when I was in Italy. I had a very early career because when I was 14, my parents split up, and there was no more money in the house. So I wanted to do something, you know, to have the money to go to my girlfriend and put fuel in my scooter and to buy some cool sunglasses, to go on holiday with my friends.
Like all the Italians.
Exactly, you know, and to get a nice watch.
Nice suit.
And so I started working in a restaurant when I was 14, and by the age of 19, I've already worked in more than 300 different restaurants.
Wow.
And I became the youngest Michelin star restaurant manager in Europe. And that's why when I moved to the UK, because someone saw me working in a restaurant and said, I have a Michelin star restaurant in London. I like your style. Would you want to come and work for me? It was a better pay. I had more holidays. No brainer. I was 21, nothing to lose. Worst case scenario, I go back to Italy. I would find a job anytime. And I decided to, so I called my mom. I said, Mom, I'm moving to London.
And the response?
When? In 2 weeks. What? But, you know, I don't know if it's like this also in Eastern Europe, but you find that in Italy, generally, people live with their parents up until they are 30 years old, 35 years old.
In Slovenia, up until they are 45.
Right.
Or till the rest of their life.
Exactly. And when I was 18, I was already out of the house. I don't know how my friends are still living with their parents.
We have many mother's sons in Slovenia.
I think it's a beautiful thing because there is a much bigger family culture than in London. But I think it's too far on the other side. There needs to be some independence at some point. So for my mom, it was a heartbreak.
Absolutely.
And so she didn't take it well. She didn't talk to me for more than 3 years. Because she took it very personal. We had a lot of other problems going in the house. So I knew that my choice was a very difficult choice because it meant leaving my mom, my little brother, all the situation that was happening with my father. There was an alcoholic and all the problems that were happening there after the divorce. But at the same time, I had to make a decision for myself. And I said, do I want to keep being involved in this problem, or do I want to make something, a name for myself? And at the same, I decided that I had to live my life. Not neglecting my family, still giving them the support that they needed. But I would have regret not to have come to the UK. And based on the result, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, but how? Now then you came here, you started as a manager at the Michelin restaurant?
I started, as a supervisor.
How did you get into the speaking, coaching business?
I'm like you. I got bored.
You get bored fast.
I'm like you, I got bored.
How long you were in the restaurant business in UK?
Well, in the UK, 1.5 years. And after 1.5, 2 years.
So please tell me, like many people are watching now, they are in their life, they want to change their career. They are bored with some business that they have, maybe traditional, maybe they are bored what they are doing, they are slaves to their jobs, and they want to break into another niche or market or start with another business. And information, product, marketing, speaking, coaching business, it's a very lucrative business.
It is a very lucrative business.
But it's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy because it's easy to get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which means,
Yeah. And
because there are no
school.
barriers.
Yeah, and no school for
There
this.
is no barriers.
Yeah.
There are some schools, but there are some courses and accreditations,
But-
but they're not regulated, and you know, some of them are really good. Some of them,
Yeah, but
don't get me
this is
started.
not this is not the marketing and
That's very
branding.
different, because it's about, first of all, you need to be great at doing something.
yeah.
And you need to be great in your topic of expertise. If you're not great, people will find out.
Yeah.
That's why you'll find a lot of people that will start immediately,
Yeah.
and they will say, go on social media, oh, I'm great at doing this, I'm great at doing that. After 6 months, where are they gone?
Yeah.
Don't see them anymore, because they're not good at what they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on the other side, you need to have the business experience to treat your expertise as a business.
Yeah.
Because being great at something doesn't mean that you're going to be a great business owner.
Absolutely.
You can be a great skilled person, if you can be a great skilled waiter,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you're going to have your own restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
You can be passionate, you can have knowledge, but
Thank you.
business is something different.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why, for example, for me, it took me, to make the transition, the full transition, it took me 3.5 years. So after 3.5 years, I made the decision, I'm not going to work here anymore in restaurants, and I want to create a new career for myself. It took me 3.5 years of working part-time, doing different contracts. First of all, because it was something completely new. So I needed to build my expertise. I needed to build my knowledge in the coaching field, because it was new. And I was 22, 23 years old at the time.
Very young.
Very young. And so a lot of people will not believe or trust me when I say,
Absolutely.
hey, I'm a life coach. How old are you? 22. Okay. Maybe I'll hire someone who has a bit more life experience.
Yeah.
And I cannot
a little
believe,
bit more longer life.
I cannot blame them.
Yeah.
So that's why I did more than 200 sessions for free. I coached more than 200 people for free. And so when someone was saying, oh, well, I think you are too young and you're not good at what you do, I will take out my folder, and I had like these pages and pages of
200
testimonials. I'm like, read. And so that, they couldn't say anything there.
Smart.
And that's how I was able to make this transition. But it took me 3.5 years from the moment I've decided, I attended my first seminar and I said, that's what I want to do, to the moment I was able to cover my basic, to cover my bills, and say, okay, I can now work for myself.
But right now, you're helping your clients to do this much faster.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what is the secret now that you didn't know back then?
Yeah. Okay, what is the secret that I didn't know back then? Okay, the secret that I didn't know back then is that it takes time. If I have to reveal the real secret that I didn't know back then, is that this is not a short journey. And to become someone in your field, someone who is respected with a good reputation, someone who is trustworthy, someone that can say, hey, look at how many people I've worked with, it takes time. So if everyone is here just for 1 year or two, don't even bother, because it's not going to work. Now, having said that, there are a few things that, and this is the 4 pillars that we teach in our courses, in our Explode Your Expert Business courses, which is having the perfect business strategy. So initially, you need to treat this like a business.
Yeah.
This is not a hobby. You need to know how to market, how to sell, what is the vision, who are your ideal customers, what are your sales targets, the systems that you're going to use, the people that you're going to hire. You need to treat this like a business. Then once you treat this like a business, then you can go to pillar number 2, which is having a clear, defined signature program. That becomes your brand. For example, mine is Explode Your Expert Biz. Everything is Explode Your Expert Biz. Our seminars, our online courses, our books, our journal, all the products, everything is Explode Your Expert Biz. And the signature system is your intellectual properties. Because, Smillion, that's how we get paid.
Yeah.
Right? We get paid for what sits in here. That's our intellectual property. By putting that into a system, then people can relate to it and they can buy it. And then we are looking at the 3rd pillar, which is growing your audience, which you're brilliant at. Growing your social media following, creating a big audience that loves you, follows you, buys from you. And then we are going to the fourth pillar, which is media attraction. So how do we attract media like Forbes, Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc., Fast Track Company, Sky? How do you get interviewed on podcasts like this one or go on a radio show consistently? Because by having all these four things working together, that's where you not only show the world that you're great at what you do, but also you can deliver a great value to your clients and you're recognized. So when someone goes and Googles you, then they trust you.
Yeah.
And that's the secret if there is any secret.
So what is the best strategy that you recommend to experts right now?
Seminars.
Seminars?
Seminars,
Yeah.
all way long.
Live events?
Live events. A few reasons for that. The online space is super crowded, much more crowded than
You surprised me right now.
the offline space.
I expected you would say online courses.
Nope.
So seminars, okay.
The reason why is a very simple thing. Is in business, you stand out if you do something different. So if everyone is focusing online, everyone is saying online, 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 and it means there are more people offline now that are left alone. And that's one of the reasons why. So the trend is going online, online, online. I'm saying, great, there is now all these people here that they want the live events. They're mine. And then the other reason why it is because to build trust and relationship online, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
You need to create a lot of content, to have a great brand, to have a great reputation. People need to see you at least now 30, 40 times. Before it was 7 times before making a decision. Now it's 30 to 40 times before they buy a $7 product.
Only.
Only, right? So to make a small sale, there is a lot of brand equity that you need to put in place. But when you're running a seminar, what happens?
Yeah, you can
Instant
build trust
rapport.
instantly, yeah.
Instant rapport, instant relationship. Why? Because we are human
Especially
beings.
if you play didgeridoo.
If you're playing the didgeridoo, that's added bonus. But even if you don't play didgeridoo, it's instant relationship. I mean, we connected, we spoke on the phone before, earlier, we spoke on Facebook, but we connected more, I felt we connected more in the 30 minutes that we have for breakfast than in all the interactions that we had.
Yeah.
It's normal, we're humans. So the moment that you are in front of a real human in a live setting, that's the moment when you shorten the gap between them making a decision of liking you, trusting you, and then buying from you. And immediately you can sell something in the hundreds or thousands of dollars or pounds, whatever currency you use, euros, you name it. But that's why for someone going immediately into the offline space, it makes your business much more profitable at the beginning. Because otherwise people wait years to build the audience necessary, which is needed just to make a few $100s a month. Well, I'm saying take a few months and make thousands of dollars. And of course you need to be good at presenting. Yeah. Because it's not something saying, well, if you don't know how to speak in public, or people are not going to buy. But but you need to be good at presenting even if you're online.
And selling.
And selling.
Yeah. And so, you are one of the best regards to closing and selling from stage.
That's what people say.
Yeah, I heard it.
I let them say that.
But it's not only about selling, it's about serving probably.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. If I was, I'm writing another article for Forbes recently on, and the title was, that I've been commissioned to write was, Will micro businesses thrive during Brexit? And I say, of course they will. Because if you go back to the nature and the pure essence of business, what is a business? It's a solution to a problem. That's it. So there are always problems, and there are always solutions to be made. Yeah. So then as long as you're able to share, and you're giving value, and you're explaining things in a way that is captivating and people want to understand, they will always buy. As long as the message is right and it's for the right person.
I agree. So you mentioned live events.
Yeah.
Do you think your own events or be a guest speaker on somebody's event? What is the strategy? What is the
both.
Both?
You need to have both, because so if you don't have any audience, for example, when we started, we didn't have any audience.
Absolutely.
No one knew us, no one was following us. We were two 24-year-old kids that were starting out with me and my business partner,
so
Ben.
how did you start?
So we started immediately with our own event, Mistake.
Okay.
Because it was impossible to fill the room.
Yeah.
It was impossible to fill the room. So I remember we spent 2 months marketing this event. At the end, on the night of the event, we had 4 people. 2 were the speakers that we hired for the night. 1 was my business partner's father, and the other one was the only person who arrived. That we chained at the chairs like, no, you're not leaving this room right now.
You're the only.
You're the only participants here, so we're not gonna let you go. And so that was the big mistake that we made. And what we realized is that it needs to be, they both need to be present. So you need to go and speak on other people's events, so then people see you, and then they can register for your own event. And then at your own event, it's much easier to convert them because you're playing in-house, like you're playing home. And, you know, it's like when if you're Real Madrid and you're playing home, you have more advantage if you're playing against Juventus and you're playing in Italy instead of playing in Spain.
Your yard.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. When people come to your events, your conversions will always be higher because you're in control, you're in charge of the entire experience, you're in charge of the entire sales process. In particular, if you're the only one speaking there, the more speakers you have, the less the conversion. In particular, if you have a small audience, a small room, don't invite external speakers. Just keep the pie for yourself. Because if you have hundreds or thousands of people, it's great.
Then
but if you have 10 people, focus on converting those 10 people and getting them as your clients. And then you use the external events to constantly build a new, fresh audience to then funnel to your event. But because they have already seen you live and they don't come from an online space, then the conversion at your event or the conversion at that event as well is way higher than anything you can have online.
Those are paid speaking gigs, or you are just speaking for free, sharing revenues?
This is a very good point. Now, the speaking business is a business, and there are different business models. You have being paid to speak when you get paid up front. You can be an event promoter when you promote the event and you have other speakers selling, and then you take a share of the sales. And you can run your own event, so being an event organizer, where you are selling and then keeping everything, but then you're in charge also filling the room. And then you can speak for free for other people and then sell, and then you will have a split with the event organizer who organized that event.
Okay.
So these are the different business models that you can have as a speaker.
Right.
I personally believe that no speaking gig is a free speaking gig. That's my belief.
Great point.
So when someone says, are you going to speak for free?
No.
No, I never go and speak for free because somehow, if I'm going there, there is a reason why. It can be to build my list. And if you think about it, if you have to build your list on Facebook ads, you will need to pay money.
Absolutely.
Right? And right now, it's not getting cheaper.
No, no.
The golden days of Facebook ads, they're gone. They are still one of the cheapest way.
Yeah, but much more expensive.
Much more expensive than it was 2 or 3 years ago. So even if I want to build my list, I will go there and speak, even if I'm not allowed to sell, because I'm building a relationship with people that are going to buy later on. If I can sell there, great, I get paid for an amount of money I sell. And every time I speak now, I always make money, always. But I've been doing now this for 5.5 years. As a professional speaker, I run more than 800 events. So I've got a lot of experience under my belt here. At the beginning, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of, I think I did more than 20 events before I made my first sale.
Wow.
I was rubbish.
There is a lesson there.
I was rubbish. Yeah, the lesson was I was rubbish. And
so you thought, I'm good at delivering the content, I will give everything what I know, but at the end they left the seminar and they didn't buy and they didn't invest in their future? Or you didn't know how to sell them the bigger future?
Both.
Both.
Both. I think that is normal as a speaker when you're starting out, to go with the mindset of, I need to deliver everything I know, because I need to wow the audience. I need to make sure that they see that I know my stuff. And so what happens, you put an insane amount of content in a very short space of time.
Mm-hmm. They don't remember.
They don't remember. They get overwhelmed. They stop listening. But in your mind,
mm-hmm.
as a speaker, you're like, oh, I did a great job. I delivered everything I know. Oh,
that was great.
It doesn't work that way. But I think it's important for a speaker to go through that process, because then otherwise they wouldn't know the difference. They wouldn't know what's right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started delivering a lot of things for free, and I was over-delivering, and then I didn't know how to sell. So I had to learn how to sell, how to deliver the right amount of
mm-hmm.
content. I didn't have a product. I didn't know my audience. There are a lot of reasons why
mm-hmm.
I couldn't make
mm-hmm.
money, or I wasn't able to make money. But then the more events I was doing, the more I was understanding what my audience was looking
mm-hmm.
for, what people were looking for. And that's the trick. I didn't see it as a wasted time. It was time necessary for me to understand my business, my audience, my style, my content,
mm-hmm.
the program that I was going to sell. And it takes time. It takes time. Of course, now we have processes where we can help our clients to do. If you're working with someone that knows what they're doing, they're going to shorten the time, because they're going to say,
mm-hmm.
you need this in place. But I cannot guarantee it's going to happen the first time or the second time or the third time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm annoyed with this industry, because it's all about instant gratification.
Yeah.
People don't understand a lot of times
mm-hmm.
that there is nothing wrong if something takes longer to be created. Actually, it feels better.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels better.
Yeah.
And people need to put the work in. I need to find their style. It's not about being a copycat of someone else's material.
Yeah.
It's about creating your own material, your own products, your own services, and that takes time. Unless you already know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
If you already know what you're doing, you can just put some piece of the puzzle together, and it's great. But if you're starting from scratch, it takes about 3 to 5 years.
Mm. Wow. You mentioned Forbes.
Yeah.
So what is your secret formula to get on Forbes, Entrepreneur, and all these outlets, media outlets? I listened to your webinar.
Yeah.
And I took many notes.
Was it good?
Wow, it was a great one.
Thank you.
So can you share with my audience?
Absolutely.
Why to get on Forbes and how?
Okay, so first of all, just to put some frames, for those of you, for very few people that don't know what Forbes is, mm-hmm. there are a few magazines and online publications that will give you massive credibility in your field. Mm-hmm. That they're recognized as the institutions in the leadership field, in the thought leadership field, in particular around the business world. One is Forbes, Entrepreneur magazine, the Huffington Post, Inc., Fast Track Company. There are a few more, but these are the ones that are the most important. Now, the reason why you want to be there, it is because when someone goes on your website, or when someone introduces you and says, he has been featured on Forbes, now it means that you've been featured alongside the most brilliant minds in business ever. Therefore, it builds your credibility, and that means builds your trust, and the more trust you have, the more people will buy mm-hmm. from you. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why you want to be on Forbes or Entrepreneur or other magazines. Now, how do you get in there? Is a relationship game. Is a relationship game. The thing that doesn't work is to send a cold pitch saying, hey, dear journalist, at the editorial in particular. So you can find the email address of the editorial team. Then you send them a cold pitch saying, I would love to write an article about how I've transformed my life from underpaid to starting my own business.
Yeah, there are thousands of
They receive thousands of applications like this every single day. What are the chances they're going to pick you?
0.
0. 0.1.
Yeah, 0.1. Yeah.
Let's give it a slack, okay? 0.1. So it's a relationship game. What you need to do and what you want to do is to connect with someone else who is writing for that publication that you want to target and is writing on the same topics that you want. So for example, let's say in my case, I teach public speaking. That's one of the topics that I teach, or sales or marketing. One of the things that I would do, I will go on Forbes and look at for public speaking as in the search bar. Now it will give me all the articles that talk about public speaking. Now the articles are written by a real human being also, which means that then I can connect with them on Twitter or LinkedIn, on Facebook. And what most people will do at this stage, they will say, hey Johnny, let's say Johnny's writing, hey Johnny, can you please feature me on Forbes? I got this story. Again, that doesn't work. Yeah. Johnny receives thousands.
Did you try?
Of course. That's why I can say it doesn't work. I think I made every single mistake that could possibly make, because I'm a person that is not afraid to take action. Yeah. And that's what happened. You take a lot of mistakes.
You pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger. And then if it hits the aim, great. Otherwise, you adjust as we go along. That's how I am as a personality. Probably are very similar.
Yes.
So the best way is then to go and connect with a journalist and give them resources. Build that relationship. So if someone, most of the time, they will be active on Twitter. And then you will connect with them on Twitter and say, hey, Johnny, I loved your article about public speaking. Thank you very much. And then you share it as well to your audience. So now I'm Johnny, I'm seeing this tweet. I'm like, oh, thank you very much, Maria, for sharing. Yeah. I appreciate it. 2 days later, hi Johnny, loved your article, but I believe, I also think about this. And then now you give it like a slightly controversial point of view. Something a bit different to add to what the journalist is saying. But not to discredit their work, okay? So not about discrediting their work, but saying, I also have this to add to the conversation. But thank you very much, great article, and again, you share it. Now I'll see you twice. Do this for 4 or 5 times. Sharing, commenting, adding resources. Sometimes you can say, hey, I've got this person who can be a great fit for your article, so you make an introduction, a connection. Because I'm a journalist, so what I need as a journalist, I need content. And I need people that can give me this content. So you are providing and adding value to the journalist. And then after 4 or 5 times, then you're saying, hey, Johnny, I also speak about this topic too. If you ever need any help or someone to give an idea or opinion on the topic, let me know, I'm available. And then you keep following up on that conversation, still giving value, up until the point where Johnny is coming to you and say, hey, Maria, I will need you to write this article for me. And that's one of the best ways to get featured in any publication you want, any media you want. I got on Sky Television for that, BBC Radio, you name it, is always the same strategy. Being useful, being valuable, build relationship, and being relevant.
Wow, great tip. What about speaking from stage? What is the main skill somebody should master to speak from stage? You know, many of them, they say, I'm not born speaker. Is this a skill or?
It is a skill. It is a skill.
It's not natural ability.
It can be a natural ability.
Can be.
Like with everything. You can be naturally gifted, lucky. And you can put the hours of training. The reality is that persistence and perseverance will always beat gifts if they're not trained. So you can, even if you were not as natural and talented at the beginning, but you put more hours in the training and becoming a great speaker, you will become better than the person who is naturally gifted and is doing nothing at all about it. Because speaking is not just about holding a microphone. That's what a lot of speakers do. Holding a microphone. And I'm sharing a story. Oh, beautiful. That's not speaking. That's a small part of it. That's the beginner part. And then you need to add a lot of more complex skills that happen with training. So if someone wants to start, let's divide, if someone wants to start it for someone who's already a speaker. So if someone wants to start, the best thing you can do is to join a speaker club. There are a lot of speaker clubs all over the world. Toastmaster. Here in London, there is a great one called the Speakers Express. We have one called Sovereign Speakers that we are launching soon. So there are a lot of communities that create a safe environment for you to practice. Where no one is there to judge. No one is there to say, oh, that presentation wasn't good. If you make a mistake, you have nothing to lose because you're not selling anything at that stage. But you're becoming better. And there is my very first speaker trainer, which was called Quinton Swain, we spoke about this morning. It drilled into me one lesson, which is stage time equals wealth time. Stage time equals wealth time.
Yeah, elaborate a little bit.
Every time you're on stage, every time you're on camera, every time you have the opportunity to get your message out to people, always say yes. Always. If it's in a library, if it's we started our first event in a farm. I spoke in front of one person, 2 people, 3 people. I don't care. Even now, I accept every single invitation that I get, every single one. Why? Because or it's an opportunity for me to sell, but at the beginning, is an opportunity for me to become better and to get rid of my nerves. Because if you're not used to it, it's nerve-wracking. You got your heart, which is because sweaty hands and the words are not coming out.
So you got this lesson 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And you are still saying yes to every opportunity.
Still now.
You won't forget this in 10 years when you will be the super star Simone Vincenzi.
It's all about. I don't believe in absolutes. So will I always be this way?
Yeah.
Probably not. Things will change. But at the moment, that's what's working well. And there are a lot of people that will say to me, "Oh no, why are you still speaking there? Because you could have that time spent on speaking on another stage." Or they will say to me, "It's not good for your brand," and I get it.
Yeah.
But it's still my personal choice because I said I make money every time I speak.
Yeah.
For the past 3.5 years, I never done a speaking engagement where I never got at least one single client. So anyway, even if there are 3 people in a library, I know that 1 or 2 of these 3 people, they're going to become clients. And I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, is also a chance for me to change lives. I don't do speaking just for the money. Money is really good, and it's passion, but the reason why I started, which is my big reason why, is to change lives. In this case, changing businesses.
Don't forget this, ever.
And for me, doing a lot of even charity work or working with young people for free, I'm happy because I'm living my purpose. And as I said at the beginning, it's not just about money. Money is a part of the equation. So that's why at the moment, that's what feels right for me. And it's also an opportunity for me to test new material that I can bring to the biggest stages. If you're looking at stand-up comedians, I did a stand-up comedy gig recently. Have you ever done stand-up comedy?
Not yet, but my seminars are like stand-up comedy.
I can imagine. I'm looking forward to come to one of your seminars. When you're doing that, are you doing some in English?
Yeah, I did some.
Okay, well, next time you have a seminar in English, invite me because I'm sure you're going to be fun as hell. I want to be there. So I did my first stand-up comedy gig, and stand-up comedy as an art is an art and a science.
Yeah.
It's one of the most difficult things I've done because you need to create a laugh every 20 seconds. And to create about 5 minutes of material, I had about a 30-minute set. And of the 30 minutes, only 5 minutes were good. Right? And if you're looking at all these stand-up comedians that they go on stage and they make people laugh every time, like clockwork, you know, the Kevin Hart, you know, the Michael McIntyres, or whoever you're following, they are doing still small gigs for free to test their material, to test new stories, to test new jokes. And that's for me the same. I'm testing new materials. I'm testing another different way to sell a story. Why? Because I got nothing to lose. I got 3 people there. So then when I'm doing the gig with 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people, I know that I'm going to smash it. I know that I'm going to stand out compared to all the other speakers because I'm willing to put more work in.
Yeah, great. Let's go back to your second passion.
Yeah.
Which I was amazed. You are the size like me, and your second passion, or first one, is basketball.
It's basketball, yeah.
Can you explain me? You still play basketball?
You know, yeah, I play basketball. So I'm 29 at the moment, going 30 in 2 weeks. So almost I'm adding the three to the age now.
Yeah, so for those of you that are watching and you think you're still too young to start a business, he's only 29 years old. And crushing it.
And something that I always loved. I started when I was 12, and I remember I could play 5 hours, 5 hours straight in an afternoon. No, in Italy it's super hot in the summer, but we're starting playing at 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon until 9 o'clock in the evening, or sometimes 9:30, up until the sun was coming down. And when I was playing, there was nothing else.
It should be football.
It should be, but you know
Italian, they should play football, not basketball.
I know. That's what people. That's the stereotype. But for me, basketball was my football.
Yeah.
Basketball was my football at the time, and at the age of 18, I had to make a choice because working in a restaurant in a professional level, I couldn't. I'm working evenings and weekends, so I couldn't attend trainings, and I couldn't attend the games. So I stopped. And I started again when I was 27. So I had a gap of 9 years without playing basketball. I was still going to the gym and doing some yoga or activities, but it was one-off, it wasn't a training. And then at 27, I bought a basketball again, and I went to the court close to my house. And I spent 3.5 hours there by myself just shooting. And it felt like it was 10 minutes. And I said to myself, why did I stop it? And I think that, you know, for everyone that is listening or watching, sometimes we put on hold the things that are most important for us or that makes us happiest because we say to ourselves, oh, we don't have enough time for this, or I need to build a business first, or I have this commitment with my family, or I need to go to work. But at the same time, those things, they're the things that makes our life rich. And I couldn't imagine my life right now without basketball. Like I couldn't imagine my life right now without my wife. I couldn't imagine my life right now without a business. I couldn't imagine my life right now without a didgeridoo. And basketball is what gives me the energy to do anything else. When I have a bad day in business, I'm spending 3 hours on the basketball court. I'm coming back to business even more fired up than before. And right now I play at the professional level in the UK league, in the 4th division. And yes, I'm short, but I'm deadly.
From 3.0.
3 point.
Yeah,
3 point.
Don't leave him alone.
Don't leave me alone. Otherwise, the 3-point shot is gonna go in.
At the breakfast, you told me you are making other players tired.
Yeah, that's
the one that makes other players tired.
That's what I do. I run a lot. So I go in, I make other players tired, I run up and down the court, and I make 3-point shots.
Wow.
That's my game.
So this is your way of getting back the energy. And how many hours per day you sleep? Like, when do you go to bed?
Most of the time, 7 hours.
That's enough?
That's enough for me, 7 hours.
It too. 7, it's perfect.
It is good, but it depends.
So go to bed when?
2 o'clock in the morning.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
I wake up at 9.
Wow.
Most of the time, but sometimes I go to bed at 11, and I wake up at 6, depending on what commitments I have. But the majority of the time, I'll go to sleep around 1 o'clock in the morning, then waking up at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. And that's what I found is good for me, because I like. There is some work. For example, when I'm writing my articles or writing my books, creating material, or maybe we are working on a page on a website or something, I like to do it during the night. No one is disturbing me. I get a lot done. Everyone is sleeping. And I hate waking up early in the morning. I hate that. Oh my God.
It's like I'm listening to myself like 7 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to change. When you will have kids, you will see.
That's the thing.
You won't be able to sleep till 8 or 9 a.m. So you will have to.
And I'm flexible with that.
Yeah.
I know that that's going to happen. In fact, right now, don't have kids yet. They're coming soon. So
coming soon?
We're planning to have some kids within a year.
2 kids, huh?
That's my plan.
That's your plan.
Maybe not within a year, both of them.
No, you never know. Why not?
I never know. We are open.
You have to be open. Yeah.
We are open to it, but we want now to have a family. We have been married because we just got married. We got married last year. So we wanted to have. Thank you. Yeah. We wanted to have a year, 2 years where we could just enjoy ourselves and travel and do marriage stuff without kids. Because that was the biggest advice we received. Don't get kids immediately.
Really?
Enjoy your time together first.
Who gave you this advice?
A lot of families that have kids immediately.
I would give you different advice.
Okay, what's your advice?
Have the kid as soon as you can. Why? I couldn't have a baby for 10 years with my wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I could find out this before, if I would start to make a baby before. So this is my advice to everybody that is listening. Don't wait. You go home today and you try.
Let me send a text.
Get her ready.
But
it's true, you know. Sometimes we are planning too much, you know.
Yeah.
Not this year, not next year, and then it's not like we are going to the shop and we buy a book or a piece of bread. So yeah, for us it was like 10 years. 10 years. 1 year goes like that. Second year goes like that. And then third and fourth and fifth and sixth and seven and 8 and 10. My advice to everybody that is young is have a baby as soon as possible. Like yesterday. If she is the one, have a baby. Yeah. Don't calculate, I have to finish my study, I have to get a degree, I have to find a job, we have to move here. No. That's my advice. So it's a different advice.
I think, and this is the thing about advice.
Yeah.
We always give advice from our personal experience.
That's it. Yeah.
I can see that from your point of view.
Yeah.
That's a very good advice.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's not been easy.
Yeah. But you still have time. But this is the point. We always say, I have time, I am young.
Yeah.
When I started to think about a baby with my wife, I had 27 years. I was 27 years old, and I got my first baby when I was almost 40.
Almost 40.
So that's why I'm giving this advice. Maybe it's
right,
not.
I'll send her a text.
Maybe it's not the right one. Okay, let's talk about business.
Let's talk about business.
I made you think a little bit.
You made me think.
Yeah.
You definitely made me
think.
So
let's talk about the productivity tips or time management tips that you have. Yeah. You're busy actually, and is there any productivity, time management tip that is the root cause of your productivity?
Yes. It's called time blocking. Probably you've heard about this before.
Okay, but how you do it?
The way time blocking works is the principle behind it is saying that if you have any free time in your calendar, you will fill up with stuff that are not relevant. Because as human beings, we perform best where we have an intention of what we are going to do, and we give ourselves a certain time frame. That's why, for example, sport and competitions get people to perform better, because they have a specific outcome for a limited period of time. And that's the same way I run my day. I run my day as I have very different competition to get throughout the day. And every time is planned and every time is scheduled in the calendar. Now, that was very difficult to create because it kind of goes against my nature. Yeah. Because I'm very spontaneous.
Spontaneous, yeah.
Like, I want to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's do it. In fact, right now, I have a scheduled time for spontaneous activities, right?
Great.
So, but even spontaneous activities
Are
planned. They are happening in this day. Or I will leave some allocated time or some buffers for that, so I can just do whatever I want. But it's planned, and that helps me being much more focused, much more productive, and get done everything I want to get done. Because, I mean, as entrepreneurs, there is never enough time in a day.
No.
Particularly when you have a family or other passions and so on. There's so many things that we want to do, in particular if you are like us. Incredibly creative. We wake up with an idea, and by the time we haven't finished yet thinking about that idea, we have another 5 that are popping up. And in an ideal world, we would love to execute on everything. So what I'm doing right now is making sure that every day is planned ahead. In fact, we are creating even our own planner, which is called the Expert Journal, to help experts plan their days. And
specifically for experts.
Specifically for experts, specifically for an expert business.
Great, great.
Because that's the way
I like
we work.
the idea.
We have.
I will promote it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, as we speak, going to proofread. Probably by the time this interview is live, the planner is going to be ready. And it starts from the assumption that you need to plan your day in the evening. And you need to plan your week at the beginning of the week. And you need to plan your month at the beginning of the month. And you need to plan your year at the beginning of the year.
Absolutely.
So what we are getting people is to plan their year, but instead of planning the entire year, it goes in 3-month chunks, in 90 days chunks.
Yeah.
Because 90 days are, and this is following a great book called The 12-Week Year.
Yeah.
Awesome book on productivity. I recommend to everyone to read. That's we use that methodology following that principle, because 90 days are enough time to get something substantial done or created and launched.
And to stay focused.
And to stay focused. But it's not too long, like a year, when you arrive in September and you're saying, wow, I haven't done anything of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So we are focusing on that side, and we get people to plan their days the night before. So I plan always my day, my night before. And I know also the beginning of the week what I'm going to do for the week, what are my tasks. What is the task that I'm going to delegate, which means that I'm going to give to my team? What is that I'm going to do? Where I'm going to spend time with my team? When I'm going to spend time with my family? Because that's actually the most important time. Whenever I plan anything, family time and holidays, they go in first. And then business will go around. I don't know if you do something probably similar. With kids, it's even more important to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what is the typical day like for you? What activities are at the core of your focus?
Content creation. So every day I sit down and I write my email to my list every single day. Wake up, first thing I do, sit down, write my email.
Okay.
Then I will, generally before that, I will do some meditation. I like meditating in the morning.
Okay.
And then I will review my day, write my email, and then I will check in with my team. What is that I need to delegate throughout the day? What is that I need to check a project that they're going on, receive an update from them, and so that I know that they are set for the day. Then I will go in, I will have time for sales, marketing related activities. 3 days a week I have time with my clients, and around 4 days a week I will always have an interview or on television or on a podcast. I will be on a seminar, speaking somewhere, running my own event. So generally 4 out of 7 days every week I'm on the road speaking.
So it's content creation, managing a team, speaking or media.
Speaking on media, and then feeding clients as well in between. And then every Monday I have is my team day. So we are doing all our team meetings and our team trainings every single Monday. So we have a catch-up, and also we have a specific training on a specific area of the business that we are outsourcing for the team. So that's all done on Monday. And I generally tend to keep my Mondays quite light. because at the moment, I'm speaking a lot of weekends. So it means that the Monday becomes half a day off. But then I will always have 2 hours dedicated to the team as well.
Can you talk about some dangerous situation that almost destroyed your business or your spirit at the beginning?
Many.
Did you ever think to give up on everything?
Oh yeah, many times. I still do. At least once a week. Why on earth am I doing this?
Yes.
I think it's...
But it comes the time that we are asking this question ourselves, like, why am I doing this? And then what is the answer you get?
It depends on what mood I'm in.
That is honest, man.
If I get a negative answer, I will put it on hold and I'll get back to it when I have something better to say. Because I know I'm not going to quit.
Absolutely.
I know I'm not going to change. But there are those days where everything goes wrong. And the team has problems, and the clients have problems, and now the software is breaking down, and there is this update that we haven't considered, so all our paid advertisements are not working, and they all tend to happen in one single day. I don't know why, but they all do.
Murphy.
Right? So, in these days, it's not easy to keep up, but I have a folder with all the testimonials of my clients. So if I'm having a bad day, I will just go in that folder on Google Drive and start reading all the testimonials they have for my clients, because I'm doing this for them. I'm doing this for solving problems. And that gives me, again, back the motivation. Or the other things that I would do, I would go and play basketball and completely leave it on the side. Whenever I have a very bad day, or I think that my mind cannot think, I will stop working. There is no point to force. So I might just put Netflix on and watch a movie and relax, and then wait up until I'm calming down, or play some music, or go and play basketball, and then wait up until I'm calming myself down to then keep working again. You asked what happened. There was one time at the beginning. And I was going through my studies, and I just quit my job as a waiter, and I had few savings in the account, and I used to plan the savings for 6 months, so I couldn't work. I had enough to live for 6 months, covering food, covering accommodation, and so I could go through my training to become a life coach and to complete them, and just be focused on that and build the business at the same time. Unfortunately, at the very beginning of this process, my grandfather died in Italy. And that was my mom's dad. And me and my mom at the time, we haven't been speaking, as I said, for about 3 years. And in my mind, I knew that she needed help. I felt it. She needs help. Because my mom and her dad, they were very close. They were really close. So for her, it was a big hit. And I said to myself, I'm learning all this personal development stuff. If I'm not applying it with my family, I failed. What's the purpose of spending all these thousands of pounds on trainings if I cannot apply them with the people and use it with the people that are the closest to me, that I care the most about? So I decided to make myself homeless and use that money to travel back to Italy every 2 weeks. And for 6 months, I was living 2 weeks in Italy and 2 weeks in London. When I was living in Italy, I was staying at my mom. And my mom didn't know anything about that, because I was helping her, just making sure that she was with me, helping my brother with his studies when he was going to school, and just be a bit more present for my family in that moment. And then when I was living my 2 weeks in London, I had nowhere to stay, because I couldn't afford moving back and forward, paying the rent, without getting another job. And I couldn't find anything that could just cover me for 2 weeks over the month.
Absolutely.
So I decided to do what I had, and I took it as an adventure. I took everything I had, gave it away to charity, and I started living for 6 months for just what could fit in a backpack. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. It was one of the absolute best experiences of my life.
What did you learn?
I learned what it's like to live with nothing.
Mm.
And it's the best thing in the world. Because, I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the doing, in the having, and building the business and making the money. But that's a part of happiness. I think that the real happiness is that when you're happy with yourself, with you and nothing else. And that's what I've learned, how to be happy with myself with nothing. And also it was a test to, for me, was a statement to what I was willing to do in order to make it happen in my field. There was no stronger commitment. I was like, I'm committed, no matter what it takes, I'm gonna make it, no matter what the circumstances. And that experience shaped me to who I am now. Because in particular, I know I can live with nothing. So if everything goes wrong, everything goes bust, I have my didgeridoo, I can go busk on the street. And that's fine. I made money basking on the street. I paid my bills basking on the street with a didgeridoo. I can live with nothing, and I'm happy with that. Of course, before I didn't have I wasn't married, so it's a very different situation.
Okay, yeah.
But if everything falls apart, I know I have enough within me to survive, to make it, and to get back on track as well.
Did you share this with your mother?
Yeah.
What happened?
I shared it after, I think last year.
No.
Yeah.
Like after a couple of years?
Yeah, after 5 years at least.
So what happened?
She said, I'm crazy. I said, how are you crazy? Why have you done this? And actually, she learned it from an interview. She was watching an interview I was doing, and I was sharing the story. And I received a phone call and said,
is this true?
The fact is that my mom doesn't speak much English. So I didn't, that's why I was sharing also the story without my mom knowing, because I didn't understand, I didn't think my mom could understand. I said, I've taken English classes so I could follow you.
Wow.
And I've learned about this story. Is that true? Yeah, it's true. That's what I did when Granddad died. Like, oh, you're crazy. Why have you done this? Blah, blah, blah. You didn't have to. I said, well, that's what I chose to do. And my mom knows my character. If I choose something, I'm going to do it anyway. And she have learned it. I was a very troublesome teenager. I gave her a lot of grief. She was saying something, I was doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Always.
I know somebody like that.
Really? Yeah. Very close?
Wow, great share. Okay, if there was a reset button for your business and you had to start it over again, what would you do differently to take a shortcut?
Yeah. I would focus on sales more than anything else. I think I've been fluffing about for too long. Sales and money is the oxygen of a business. And it's easy to keep yourself busy as an entrepreneur. And I think that's what I did at the beginning, because I saw progress. At the beginning, you see progress because you have nothing. So progress is easy to see. But that doesn't translate in money in the bank account. So the first thing I would do is stop fluffing about and building a website and doing all my social media and all this kind of stuff, is to go out, to give presentation and focus on sales.
This is a huge one.
That's it.
You're speaking to me too. But this is very important, because when I train other coaches and speakers back in my country, they do the same mistake. They think about everything else, not about getting on the phone or getting on the stage.
Yeah.
And do something that will bring money in. This is great, great share. What advice would you give to somebody that is so young, like 20 and something, and they want to start a business? They think they have to have money to start a business. They have to have all the connections in the world, experience. They have to read all the books, attend all the courses, consume all the information to be perfect, and wait for the right time and the right moment to show up.
So if someone is thinking like this, I would say you're never going to make it.
That's good.
If you describe that person,
I know
said,
them.
what
they are
would you
watching
say,
right now.
If you would say to that person, if that's the situation, say, give up, you're never going to make it. Because there is never going to be the perfect time.
No.
It's never. And there is a great book called The Power of Broke.
Mm-hmm. The Power of Broke?
Yeah. John, the founder of Fubu, as a Shark Tank. I don't remember his name. Diamond is his surname.
The Power of Broke.
The Power of Broke. And the concept of the book is that you are a better business person if you're broke than if you started with a lot of money. Because at the beginning, you're going to make mistakes anyway. Now, if you have $1 million to spend, you're going to waste that $1 million. Because you don't know, you don't have enough business experience to understand how to make that $1 million become $10 million. Yeah. But if you can make $1 and turn it into $10, and then turn $10 in $100, and turn $100 into $1,000, then now you're understanding your business. Now you're understanding the dynamic of making money. Now you're understanding how to work it. So my recommendation is someone wants to start. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. It's part of the process. You're going to suck at the beginning. Yes, and it's fine to suck at the beginning. But learn from your mistakes. Keep working on it. And then the other thing that I would say is, this is something that is shocking me about this industry. Everyone is saying, quit your job, start your business. I'm saying this is stupid.
Wow, controversial.
The reason why is because it's difficult to run a business without money. Somehow you need to support yourself. If you have a family, you're putting your family on the line. I see a lot of entrepreneurs doing that. Now, if you have that kind of personality that works better, if you cut all the bridges, that's fine. But not everyone is like that. Actually, a small percentage is like that. It's better to have a job and test your business ideas and then arrive to the point where your business income allows you to replace your job and make it part-time. And then when your business income allows you to replace your job and make it full-time, and then stay full-time in the business. There are a few reasons why. If you have no money, you need to build a website, you have to build it yourself. You need to build a system, you need to build it yourself. You need to do everything yourself. And that's what I did at the beginning. I was very stubborn. And at one point I realized, you know what, there is nothing wrong in having a job and working at the same time. So I could use the money that I have in my job and pay other people to do stuff in my business, so I could focus on what was most important, which is making calls and closing clients to replace my income and leave all the rest. But I had enough money to pay my bills. I had enough money to pay some other people to work with me. And in particular, I didn't have to stress so much, because being without money consistently for a long period of time is stressful. Not knowing how you're going to eat tomorrow, not knowing how you're going to pay your rent. And I think that a lot of people are living this dream, you know, of the self-made entrepreneur, because it's media, right? It makes good stories. I was broke and now I'm multimillionaire.
And then broke again and then millionaire again.
And so a lot of people will make themselves broke to live that story. And
subconsciously.
Subconsciously, right? Because it makes media. They say, well, this is what entrepreneurs do. No, great entrepreneurs mitigate risks. That's what great entrepreneurs do. So how can I get a maximum outcome with a minimal risk? That's what and that will be my biggest advice.
Okay. Where can we find more information about you and your business?
Thank you very much for asking. There are a few places.
Okay.
The best one, so if you're listening to a podcast or you're watching podcast, you might like podcasts, so you subscribe to mine too,
Yeah.
which is Explode Your Expert Biz.
Okay.
So Explode Your Expert Biz, and that's you can find it on every podcasting platform, or you can go on my website, and which is www.gtex, GTEX.org.uk. So www.gtex.org.uk. And I have a lot of resources for you that you can download, like a selling from the stage checklist. So someone wants to become a great presenter, make money selling from the stage. I have a checklist on how to create a presentation that converts from start to finish. That's absolutely for free. You can download it on the homepage on the website.
Thank you very much. I have one last question.
Yep.
You don't have a baby yet, but today you have plenty of
I've already sent my text.
you have plenty of time. But imagine yourself that you have a baby.
Yeah.
Or there are some kids out there. You have 5 seconds to live. What would be the last, I call it the power, the last message that you would send to your kids that would stay with them till the rest of their lives? Something that would inspire them.
Yeah. Perseverance is more powerful than gifts.
Perseverance is more powerful than gift.
Yeah.
Simone, thank you very much for taking your precious time and coming to my show. It's nice here in London. It's not raining.
You're actually really lucky. We had a great summer.
Yeah,
so
it is, really.
Coming at the right time.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to work with you and see you next time.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. So, this was Simone Vincenzi. Watch up for the next show and see you later on our Warrior Family TV show and podcast.